Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the XeroBytes podcast. And look who's back!
Hey,
Look who's
so
back!
I heard you guys missed me.
We all did. I'm the main one who did. Like last week, I had someone who ate you, had you for lunch.
Wow.
It was weird. I my brother Jesse was not there. I was like, oh, what the heck?
I was setting up my church.
You're setting up your church. I was setting up my church this week. Did you
Yeah.
watch the stream? Did you watch a little bit of the stream I sent you?
I did not.
Ah,
I did
y-
not. I have been house searching and I have not really been doing anything fun at all. I have
oh.
to catch up on that.
Excuse the quality on Jesse's end. He's dealing
Yeah, I'm
with
limited
5
by
mega.
the hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah. But with that out of the way, I would like to announce. I have a few announcements.
Let's do it.
Let's start on a good note this week instead of the bad one that we started off 2 weeks ago. As you can see beneath the lower third, now we have support us at Ko-fi.com.
Awesome. Glad the link's working.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to support us on Ko-fi, and now I have set it up in a way whoever joins supports the project, there will be a pop-up that will show somebody joined.
Nice.
So yeah, support the project on Ko-fi if you want to support us one time or monthly. It's up to you. Either way, you'll have all the access to the ISO, to the Gnome ISO, and whatever comes afterwards. All the spins, basically. Any
Nice.
spin that gets created by XeroLinux, the XeroLinux team, will be available at the ISO. The ISOs will be available to all who support the project, or that you can build them free yourselves if you wanna. That's one piece of good news. Ko-fi is amazing, by the way. It allows me to create posts. It's better than Patreon. It's 1,000 times better than Patreon.
So it's definitely like its own social media network, right? Is that how that works? But it also
Almost.
does donations and stuff.
Yeah, almost. You can follow people. People can follow you. Stuff like that. So the second piece of good news, I need to shout out. I want to remember his name because if I get it wrong, he will kill me. Bob, I forget. Let me check. I am on Discord. What the hell? Let me remember just his name. Bryan. Sorry, Bryan. Wow, I was way off.
Yeah, that happens.
I need to shout out Bryan. He's officially my highest paid patron. He donated on Patreon, although I'm stopping Patreon soon. But then he supported me on Liberapay. And
Wow, that's awesome.
And he paid for 1 year in advance because it's Liberapay is weekly. He paid for 1 year in advance, so $240. It's $20 a month, or
Dude, that is amazing.
yeah. So a shout out to Bryan.
Thank you.
It's thanks to people like Bryan and Alex, the Linux Tube, that and many others that who support the project that I have a reason to continue with the project.
Yeah. I mean, as fun as it is, the lights don't keep themselves on, literally.
In my case, literally, yeah. the other the follow up to this is we now have Liberapay, Coffee, and Fundraiser. All three services you can donate to, or on Liberapay and Fundraiser, it's just either one time or weekly or monthly. But they don't. I cannot provide tiers on those two. On, as far as I know, if you want to subscribe and get perks, you can donate to support the project on Ko-fi. Ko-fi is the one that replaces Patreon, and on top of all this, we now have a join button. You can join join the channel. You will get early access to a lot of videos that I will be working on once I get back from Serbia, my sister's wedding. All meetups, like when I do a meetup with Matt, or the upcoming one with Nick from the Linux experiment, and Vuxry, the creator of Hyperland. All those will be available as member only early access 2 weeks before anyone else. So
it's really cool.
Yeah, so hit the join button. Hit the join button. Hit the join button. It's only for $4.99. And we now have, of course, the super thanks and the super chats.
Yeah.
We're full featured now.
We are YouTubers.
We are officially full-fledged YouTubers. Thanks to everyone. So those are the good news. With a little bit of with the icing on top of the cake, I have a little bit more power now. They went back. Jesse, I get angry every time you do that. Thank you, brother. I guess. But we get more power now, a couple of hours more, not much more. But it's enough to get me to make videos, actually. But yeah, so with all this good news, making this episode on starting this episode on a happy note.
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you, sir. How were your 2 weeks?
It's been an emotional roller coaster the last 2 weeks. We thought we were getting approved for a house that we really liked, and it did not pan out.
Yeah. What?
Teddy's got me laughing. The time you almost got us demonetized.
1 second.
Yeah, don't read that out loud. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The time you almost got us demonetized because I did it. But yeah, it looks like we are quite a bit closer this time to escaping the hotel. Fingers crossed for us, guys.
Yeah, guys. Anyone who pray for Jesse.
Yeah, it's been I want to say about 65 days in the hotel, and we're ready to go.
Yeah.
So we put in another application to a company we've worked with before, and we're pretty hopeful, and soon I should be joining the podcast from my office again. So that's good news.
Wow, you're really out of sync for some reason.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but we'll worry about that.
Okay.
It's it's issues with Jesse's side. On Jesse's
yeah,
side.
I'm limited to a 5 meg connection today.
And it's really desyncing. It's dropping the connection, and you're losing dropping frames and stuff. It's okay.
Let me try. Hold on. I know what I can do. This ought to be better. I forgot to turn down the channel video, since I'm watching the channel so I can keep up with the chat.
Yeah, but you're still out of sync. It's okay.
Okay.
It's just Wi-Fi desync. Your voice is fine. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Good. Good.
yeah. It's fine. This is just a live stream. It's not
Yep. Stuff
a
happens.
stuff happens on live streams. My week was really hectic. Also, I was battling back and forth between church and home,
Yeah. With Easter
broadcasting.
coming up, we're both just really busy.
Easter is tomorrow.
Yep.
Uh,
Are you guys
so
ready to go?
we're we finished. We're done. But in my case, since I am how should I put it? I follow the Eastern Church, the Orthodox
Mhm.
Church. So our Easter is next week.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm battling two Easters, one after the other.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah.
our Easter, I don't broadcast. We don't broadcast anything. We don't believe in all this Facebook stuff. They from time to time when things get to the worst and people cannot come to church, we have no choice but to broadcast. But we don't do it as a daily thing.
Gotcha.
Uh, but with my dad and everything and Easter, we shot everything. But we had on Thursday, we had no issues whatsoever. Everything went
Good.
fine, no issues.
Good.
On
Good.
Good
Good.
Friday, yesterday on Good Friday, everything went wrong.
Oh no.
Uh,
Good Friday wasn't good.
Good Friday wasn't great. We were almost ready. We had everything ready. We were almost ready to go live, and the power goes out.
Oh no.
We had to redo everything. And since we have one of the cameras, since church doesn't have a
Right.
lot of money, so one of the cameras was my iPhone. It was just a
Yeah.
crowd
Well,
camera. It was a
have you
crowd
used
camera.
it? Have you used it in OBS with the NDI plugin yet? I heard it's
N-
really
n-
good.
Not yet, because I go through. I have to go through Droid Cam.
Right. Right.
Uh,
That's right.
so so that camera, every time he switched to my phone, the audio would cut.
Ah,
Uh,
gotcha.
the audio would go, and then we started like 10 minutes late. The priest was halfway through the first part, uh, because we had to restart the setup that we did 2 hours before. That took us 2 hours to do in like 5 minutes, because the power went out and nothing was
Yeah.
saved. But I was battling those things,
But
and
no Linux problems.
we'll get to that. And then I'm battling XeroLinux. I need to finish before the 20th before I leave.
Oh, right.
Uh,
Yeah.
I need to finish everything. I have 3 releases. In case people didn't know, XFCE is coming back. Yes. I want to finish with this request stuff. There will be the flagship KDE edition. There will be the XFCE edition and the Gnome edition. And the XFCE edition and the Gnome edition, those both of those are spins. So they will be only available. ISOs will be, for those two will only be available to anyone who donates, supports the project. Otherwise, you can build them for free. They will have their own
Yep.
dedicated page. Today, I have a meetup later after the podcast. I have a meetup with a web developer to work on the design for the website for the spins. And as a
You got a
result,
lot going on.
yeah, as a result, I finished KDE. KDE now is done, thanks to Teddy, of course.
Thank you,
Uh,
Teddy.
the XFCE edition, thanks to Kudu for writing it. Kudu is amazing. Although he doesn't use it, he doesn't use XFCE. He's a window manager guy. He accepted to help donate some of his time to XeroLinux. The Gnome edition is almost done, thanks to Teddy for helping with the Grub theme, the new Grub theme for Gnome, and the new wallpaper.
Thanks. So
Teddy is
everything's becoming more synchronized, more consistent from
yeah,
version to version. That's
yeah,
awesome.
And I'm taking consistency to another level where the XFCE edition, the Gnome edition, and the KDE edition will all have similar layouts. So users uh, know what they're getting. So if they download either the XFCE or the Gnome edition of XeroLinux, they know they're using XeroLinux because they're all using across the board a top panel, a drop-down menu, a dock, and a system tray. It's the XeroLinux look, basically. It's
Yeah.
our signature look. So with that being said, I've been busy juggling, and now we're working on optimizing or making the ASCII code in terminal look better. This is the
Yeah.
level of detail we go through here at XeroLinux. It's a lot of work. It's not easy.
No. Streaming is hard.
Yep. So people, there's a lot coming on May 15th because it's a big day. It's the second year anniversary for XeroLinux. I've never worked on a project for 2 years. I always get bored and quit after a few months. This is the first time I go
a
this
big
long.
one.
Yeah, that's a big one for me. And if it goes on for 3, the third year will be the bigger anniversary for me because I'm a number 3 guy. I believe in the number 3. The number 3 means a lot to me because in the name of the Father, the Holy Ghost, and I don't know how to translate it in English. It's Bismillah, Ab, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So the 3, that number for me. And since you and I are in church, we're church people.
Yeah.
You would understand what I mean.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be a game stream day?
It will have a game stream day. That episode of the podcast will go on for at least 3 to 4 hours.
Super excited.
I'm because I'm a number 3 guy. I'm gonna make it 3 hours.
Cool.
It's gonna be the podcast in the beginning, and for all who want to, we're gonna end as we did last time. We're gonna end the podcast at the 1 hour mark or 1 hour 10 minutes mark, and then the rest of it is gonna be bonus for anyone who wants to continue watching, and we're gonna play our hearts out.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, it's next year, not this year, so
Right.
there's still time.
No, this time will only be 2 hours.
I already did 2 hours with Buxry, and I didn't know what to ask him. And my problem with Buxry was he's not the problem. I was the problem. A week prior to the time I interviewed him, he had an interview with Brody Robertson on the Tech Over Tea. I didn't ask any good questions. He told me after the stream. I told him, "What did you think?" He was like, "Well, Brody. At least Brody did his research." So I was like, because my questions were general. Oh, I lost your audio.
I said, painful lessons in podcasting.
Yeah. So I was like asking normal user questions. So it's another face to Voxery. It's or asking different questions. I don't want to ask the same questions as Brody did because I don't know anything about Wayland and I don't use Wayland and so. And Voxery is a genius. He's 20 years old. He does, and congratulations to him. You unmute your mic.
I said, he's headed to take over the Linux world at this rate.
Yeah. He congratulations to Voxery. I would like to congratulate him because Hyperland is now on official Arch repositories. It's no longer on the AUR. So he leveled up.
If I get some AMD hardware someday, I would love to try it.
Same. And this time I'm not going to use the money I get via donations like I did half of for the Steam Deck. No, those will continue to grow, and pay the bills.
Yeah.
That I'm not touching. But if somebody would gift me an AMD card, I wouldn't say no.
You know, if a 6900 XT just fell off a truck,
Yeah, maybe because I'm considering working on Hyper Zero.
that would be fun.
I really want to, but not before I get an AMD card.
But
So
if
if
you're
people,
gonna call it Hyper Zero, please have a Mega Man race for Hyper Zero.
why is he a character in Mega Man?
Well, there's Zero, but with a Z. Uh, you haven't played enough of the franchise yet.
Okay. But anyway, if somebody wants to donate a used, I don't care if they donate a used 6800 GPU or 6700, 6750 or whatever
Get
XT.
you working on AMD development.
Well, yeah. It's like Hyper Zero only works on AMD. I can work on it with. Here's the thing. I can work on Hyperland as long as I don't install NVIDIA drivers.
Right.
So
Just
if I
from Mesa.
just from Mesa, yeah, I can. It supports Nouveau. Nouveau works. Uh,
Really?
because yeah,
Oh well, Nouveau is Mesa, just like
yeah, it is Mesa. At the end of the day, it's a kernel-based driver. Uh, I can work that way, but I don't want to because there will be a lot of drop frames because it's software.
yeah.
It's not hardware.
I had
Uh,
a good little run with Nouveau for a while. I forgot I was using it for a minute, and the power management is better too.
yeah. So I would like to answer Krishna. Krishna, what CPU are you? Am I running? It's the Ryzen 5 3600X. 6 cores, 12 threads,
Yeah.
with 32 gigs of
You're running circles around me and my laptop here.
and 32 gigs of Team Group 3000 RAM. I know 3200 is better, but those are
Yeah.
RAM from my older system, from my Intel system. So,
Yep.
but yeah,
So
that's what I'm running with an NVIDIA 1080, not the Ti, just a regular 1080. Oh,
yeah, we're being protected from people making noise in the hallway. We're clearly in danger, she says.
hello. Yeah. So yeah, Hyper Zero might come to reality only if people really want it, and if they really want it, someone will donate a GPU or
Right?
enough money to buy one.
Yeah. So let's see. That's what you're running. I'm doing a laptop here, and I'm on a i5 10300H, and I'm doing 30.
10th gen.
No,
So it's basically in the
uh,
same from the
in the same
same.
family, and
Yeah,
then 64 gigs of uh, I think
did you?
it's 3200. I think it's
Yeah,
3200. It might be
it should be.
2933.
Oh, okay.
Because Intel does weird
Yeah, 20.
CPU and
Yeah, if
RAM
it's Intel,
dividers.
it's 2933. If it's Intel,
Yeah.
it's 2933. Uh, and you have the 1060 Ti, right? 1050 Ti, sorry.
Nouveau did get improved on Turing. That's right, Teddy. You would know too. We basically have the same GPU.
Yeah, I saw the news. Uh,
That actually leads us to what I was
exactly.
excited to talk about.
And
All this good news about Mesa. Uh, you want to bring that up for everybody? There was an article that just came
I don't
out
want to
of.
blind anyone. I don't want to blind anyone. I need to set the dark theme, dark
Oh
reader
yeah,
first.
because all that white space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was an article released this week over on Phoronix. I really like their stuff, and
Yep.
there's Zink changes, and we're getting claims that Mesa 23.1 is going to see up to 50% reduction in memory usage, and they're also saying most games. So I don't know if
Yeah.
it's going to be games only, but games are being highlighted here, and I think that's huge.
Yeah. And the excessive RAM usage will be dropped from Zink, like you said.
Yeah.
Uh, that's good news. That will stop the jittering and
Yeah, I really hope so. It's, if Mesa is that good, I wonder if then people using Nouveau, people using the AMD open source drivers, if we're going to get benefits from that too.
oh,
Because if so, then
there has been a lot, and I mean a lot of upstream patching for the AMD drivers in the kernel upstream. For kernel 6.4, the 6.4 kernel is going to be massive, especially for
oh
AMD
yeah,
users.
yeah, but yeah, I'm hoping if some of these go downstream to the Nouveau driver being kernel based too, I might not
Yeah,
use the proprietary NVIDIA driver anymore, and then we get Hyperland.
yeah, but it still needs time.
I don't know, man. Nouveau used to be,
Crap.
I'm
Yeah,
trying
I
to
know.
think, hot garbage.
Hot garbage. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, for me, I'm not gonna
Nouveau
be.
used to be for if you were web browsing and doing spreadsheets only, not even playing YouTube videos, not even, you couldn't used to even watch our stream on Nouveau. It was so bad.
Yeah. No, me, I'm waiting for AMD card because I want to get rid of anything NVIDIA for Linux. The 1080 would be migrated to replace the 710 in my NAS because
Yeah.
my NAS and this 710 is annoying. Um, and I need to upgrade the RAM on all my the other two computers because they both have 8 gigs. I need to upgrade them to 16 or 32. Uh, I need consistency. I need 32 across the board. So I have 32 on the main one. I want
Yeah.
both other ones to have 32. So I want to be consistent. Consistency to me means a lot.
Yeah,
It,
that's your big thing.
that's my big thing. If you haven't noticed by using XeroLinux, where have you been? Uh,
Yeah.
uh, but my topic for this week is a bit weird. I watched a video for Nicolo uh, uh, during the week, uh, and I was really surprised. A KDE developer says the words, "I'm envious of GNOME." Because GNOME 44 brought so many changes, although they're not very well baked yet. They will be better baked in the future because, initial release always half baked. Uh, so I'm going to show the users the video without sound because I don't want you to. He's talking about for example, in I'm gonna mention one part, the first part of the video where he talks about the quick settings and the background apps. But okay, it's a good idea to implement them in KDE, but implement them better than GNOME. Because GNOME only shows you GUI applications running in the background, but since they're not tray icons, because that's their attempt at replacing tray icons, you cannot do any action on them except close them. But in tray icons, when the icons are in the system tray, you can mute, you can disable something, bring them up, you can do a lot of actions. But in background apps, you cannot do anything. So if ADE brings them, do a better job, please. That's the first thing. The second thing is they're talking about the drag and drop,
Yeah.
the right click copy image from a website and right click paste in the file manager. KDE doesn't have that. GNOME has it. But KDE has the rest. You can drag and drop an image from a website and put it in Dolphin, no problem. GNOME just got that. But the right click copy image paste in Dolphin, they don't have that. So they need to include that. That's the second part. The third part, what was it? Device security, I don't care. I care, but not the way he was talking about it. Accessibility,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, and he was talking. That's another point he talked about. He talked about. I would recommend anyone to go to watch this video. It's going to be in the show notes. But he talks about slimlining the audio settings in KDE settings. Yeah, please do, because the audio settings in the KDE settings panel are hot garbage. Uh, I spent two
Too
hours
many
last night.
choices for you?
No, not too many choices. It's not about the choices. It's so messy. It's all over the place. And yesterday with the with Pipewire update that messed up everything, that reset everything for me, and I had to spend time to figure out what the settings were. It took me 2 hours. With GNOME settings, you just select, done. Select input, select the output. That's it, done. It's very clean. KDE, you're starting to get the point where why he's envious of GNOME, because KDE brings so many features and they just shove them in there and make a mess out of things. They're not streamlined like GNOME. If GNOME has one thing going for them, is their addiction to management and simplicity and stuff like that. KDE, it's a
And
hot.
stability, I know you don't like it when I pick on Kwin, but stability.
Yes, I agree. I'm not. I'm a realist. I made it known many times before. I understand. Yes, KDE has issues, but not major ones to me, at least in my case. I don't suffer major issues. Until last night with Pipewire, but
Yeah. Pipewire came for this podcast today, man. We were almost late.
we're almost too late. Uh, Another thing he's mentioning, and without a surprise, the animated mouse settings, mouse dialogue thing in the settings. Uh, I don't think they should mimic that in KDE.
Hmm.
That's a GNOME thing. If you mimic, if you clone it, then it's no longer KDE. It's like a Franken GNOME KDE spin.
Well, you know, there's a thing with this is sorry, tripping over my words here. This brings to mind you've used Nobara, and
Yeah.
probably a few of our other viewers. I've used Nobara. You can have an option when you set up the installer. You boot the ISO, and current versions will let you choose GNOME KDE or GNOME with KDE's layout.
What?
Yeah.
Where? Which one?
The most recent, I want to say, so 37, 38, something like that.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Nobara with
So it
their.
does that the look and feel menu.
Yeah, yeah. It puts the bar at the bottom, and then you have a start menu. It's kind of like KDE.
Yeah, and it
Uh,
even does dolphin like things in GNOME. So
yeah, this is strange. Other than that, what else did he bring? Oh, notifications. He wants to. He's envious of the notifications part. The last one he talked about. This is where I want to get your opinion and the view
okay,
and the people in chat.
sure,
Uh, he talked about the family of applications. KDE already has that with KDE apps,
yeah,
uh, KDE Gear, as they call them.
hmm
Uh, all the apps that follow the KDE Qt system, and they follow the Breeze theme and all that. But the way GNOME do their family of applications, they're not GNOME official apps. They're just apps that follow the GNOME philosophy.
sure,
He mentions Tangram. He mentions Shortwave. He mentions the web app thing. Uh, he mentions a lot of them. But what do you think? Do the GNOME do the developers who make their apps follow the GNOME uh, philosophy do a better job than the KDE ones? You're muted again.
So I think a few things about this. Um, I think that GNOME apps look like they belong on Gnome.
Well said. You exactly what I was
KDE
here.
KDE tries to do that,
With no success.
but it does
Limited
not
success.
succeed in the same way.
Yeah,
Does not
agree.
succeed in the same way. And I feel like one of the big reasons that I haven't been a KDE user for long is there's too much focus on like shiny icons, shiny bars. Uh, the, the UI feels very soft, like it's not drawn accurately, and it's always looked outdated to me. KDE feels like Windows XP, Windows Vista in the aesthetic,
For once,
and
I need to agree with you.
it looks older. And GNOME has always been, even before Shell and GNOME 3,
Yeah,
they were doing things to get ahead. And they've sort of stopped, not in features, but in how quickly they implement stuff because they don't rock the boat once they've got it working. They definitely both have issues, but I would say that the GNOME themed or family of apps definitely are more seamless. The way they integrate into the notifications, the system tray, it is a better thought out ecosystem at the time of this podcast. That may
yes.
change later, but at the time of this podcast, it is a more cohesive, consistent feel from app to app, from the icon sets, from the notifications, the sounds, all of it. It's together and it just feels more polished.
I'm gonna admit something, and it's gonna come as a surprise to everyone.
Okay.
It's gonna shock everyone.
Oh boy.
I
XeroLinux in the tabloids.
yeah. Um, I have been using GNOME without telling anyone in a VM, of course, not on my main system. But
Yeah.
I was using GNOME in a VM, and I envy GNOME just like Nicolo does, because the cohesiveness of GNOME
Yeah.
is a dream for me to see on KDE. As you said, KDE is clunky and messy. Cohesiveness is not. It looks like cohesiveness is not there yet.
Yeah.
It's getting there slowly, ever so slowly, but they need to prioritize that a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Is it
Uh,
fair to say that function is more important in KDE than the
it's
aesthetic?
function
Because I,
over form,
yeah,
function over form. Whereas in GNOME, it's both. It's function and
yeah,
form. Uh,
and they're willing to give up customization, and KDE keeps customization almost to the point of being a fault. You can customize so many things
by
about so
default,
many
without
things.
almost without extensions, without anything out of the box, without downloading any extensions or
Yeah,
plasmoids or whatever, you can do so much. But
right.
by doing so much, it becomes messy. And I agree with a little bit with Neo, uh, with the way things are have been going on KDE for so many years. It might not happen anytime soon. Not never, but maybe not in our lifetime. At least
Yep.
my lifetime, because I'm already 43. But unfortunately,
Well, yeah, you were already the answer last year. Now,
yeah, I I I open if I want to. I want to look at something and visually be at peace. You go from a crowd to just 10 people. You just muted yourself again.
so hold on, Katie. Under 28 hamburger menus, but here's the thing though.
Gnome is
Katie,
getting going there too. Gnome
yeah,
are hiding stuff under hamburger menus now.
yes, but But what does not happen, generally the setting that you want to tweak is with the rest of the related settings. KDE's got like your window bars are over here and your window decorations are over here. They're not even in the same menu.
Yeah, but
Like if
like
you're doing appearance things, it should all be in an appearance menu, not scattered across three different
yeah,
things.
but here that's why I say when I want peace, visual peace, yeah, Neo 28, no 2800. But if I want visual peace, like I don't want to see a mess in front of me,
Yeah.
I open no,
The
and I do,
default vanilla KDE session is horrid to look at.
yeah. Whereas with Gnome, it's clean. The cleanliness of Gnome. Why did I like Apple in the beginning over Windows?
Probably for that. It's
For
clean,
that,
it's usable, it's easy to get where you need to go once you know what you're doing.
exactly. With KDE, things keep moving around. It's all over the place. You want this setting, that setting. It's always a hunt on KDE. Whereas on Gnome, the only approach I have for Gnome, it's a personal opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the thing. Uh, the That app grid needs to disappear for me. I will keep saying it until the day I die. It's horrible. But the overview menu on Gnome is leaps and bounds better than the one on KDE. Uh,
Well, I'm a super key guy. Like if I'm navigating generally, I'll just tap the super key with my left thumb, start typing for what I want, hit
yeah,
enter, and I'm there.
you can do that with the app grid on Gnome, but I just don't like to see the app grid. It's visually disturbing to me. It's like you introduced a mess into a clean layout. It's just a bunch of icons spread all over the screen, and they're not even organized alphabetically or anything. You have to use an extension to organize them or whatever. That wasn't while I was testing it, but I haven't used the app grid since last year or since I created the Gnome edition.
Yeah.
But I
What
cannot
was
see
the
it.
thing in Mac OS that I used to like? The apps were spread out. Was it Launchpad? I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
I think the
yeah,
little
yeah,
rocket ship Launchpad,
yeah.
where you would
Launchpad.
have just all your icons, just clean, transparent background. It was pretty
Yeah,
to
I
look at
hate that.
sometimes.
I hate that on Mac. I disable it on
Oh,
Mac
see, I
OS.
I like it because if we're gonna go to the point of having, our system raised or have themes or icons or whatever, I want to look at them. Why decorate them if you're not going to look at them?
Yeah, but well, on my Mac, I use an application. I Not an application. I remove the Launchpad thing.
Hmm.
I replace it with just a folder that when you click on it, it shows you a menu of all your apps and stuff. I just don't like it. It's for me, it's like somebody forcing an iPad look or a tablet look
Yeah, I could
on a
see that.
laptop.
Do you
Uh,
remember? I forget if it was Plank or if it was one of the other docs for Linux. Used to have the folders that would kind of come up.
oh yeah, it's Cairo Doc.
Cairo doc, that's it. You would have
Cairo
the
Doc was
folders that you could
amazing.
do.
Yeah,
It was for a while, and it died.
it died as a lot of projects these days.
Yeah, I
Um,
think didn't uh, Enlightenment used Chirodoc for a while, for a
they
long
did,
time.
they did,
From
and then they
E16,
switched to Plank.
E17, they
Yeah,
used Chirodoc for a long time.
and then they switched to Plank. And annoyingly enough, here's the problem with, for example, somebody brought it up a week ago. They asked me, okay, how future proof is XFCE? I was like, it is future proof like any desktop environment. With them using GTK2 and GTK3 elements, not yet moving to GTK4 does not mean they're not forward thinking. They just announced like a month or two ago that XFCE 4.20 will be the beginning of their move to Wayland, or their inclusion to Wayland. But if they do that, for example, Plank, for a lack of a better word, has not seen development for years. It's not deprecated or anything. The developer never said he killed the project. He's just not working on it, and that will not support Wayland. So if you're on Wayland, you got to use something else.
I really do think, this is a topic for both previous and a different podcast episode, but I really think that Wayland's going to wind up superseding X11.
Yes, it will. This is the reality of things. This is the natural development of things.
And if you spend time on a Wayland composited DE, it's a great experience when it works.
Yeah. And I want to shout out Josh today. It's a weird shout out, but I never thought I would say this. But Josh deconstructed on his distro hacking series. He deconstructed XeroLinux, and the outcome, I'm not gonna spoil it. The outcome was exactly as I expected, from coming from Josh. But it was an interesting stream to watch, especially that Ben was there, because Ben has an inside look into XeroLinux, because we teamed up a little bit to work on XFCE edition, but then it became a little bit too overwhelming for him, so I had to keep him on Storm OS. But it was an interesting stream. I will link it in the show notes as well, because someone like Josh presents a unique overview on Linux. He doesn't use Linux like a regular user. Let's put it this way. Think about all the weird ways to use Linux and break Linux. That's what Josh does. But he does it for a good fun. Yeah, and he does it for a good reason.
Quality control testing.
Yeah, quality control testing. He actually does report bugs upstream. He's very good at it. He's got a lot of knowledge in his head. By breaking things,
That's how we grow.
Yeah, exactly. People think like, oh, that guy breaks everything. That means he's stupid. No, that's how you become smart. Actually,
what are the monetization rules? Are we allowed to swear? You said we're allowed to swear.
Yeah.
So he fucked around and found out.
Yeah, exactly. 27 bugs filed.
That is exactly what science is. You fuck around and you find out.
Yeah. 27 bugs filed this week. Nice. For Gentoo?
Maybe could we what would be fun? I'm taking credit for this idea. What if we have a theming contest?
Theming contest? Rising contest?
Rising, theming, whatever. Pick your, we have a category for, say, Gnome. Have a category for KDE.
Gnome?
Yeah.
No. Hell no.
No. Just hear me out. Just as simple as, your basic desktop look. Because we all throw our screenshots or whatever in the Discord.
Yeah.
Let's show them off.
Okay. I created a section for users to share their dot files. So far, I haven't seen anyone sharing their dot files. They share their screenshots, but no dot files. But there's one person who shared his dot files. Amazing job. But a theming contest would be good as long as Gnome is thrown out the window.
Oh.
Hear me out. See, I heard you out. Hear me out. Gnome. I would agree to GNOME as long as they don't budge from libadwaita dark. Go around libadwaita dark, just don't theme libadwaita dark. Just don't use GTK themes because they're all hacks. Stay away as far away from GTK themes as possible. Even if they say GTK4 compatible, they're using hacks. So if they do that, I'm okay with it. Stick to libadwaita dark, theme around it.
Josh, I agree with you. I think I've got my GNOME looking pretty good, but I didn't mess with libadwaita dark.
Good.
I'm talking, just basic old school stuff. Your wallpaper.
Okay,
your icons,
I'm open to that. I'm open to that. Just don't use GTK themes because if you look, I'm a distro maintainer. I look underneath the surface. I don't look at the surface. The surface looks great, but if you look underneath the surface, you're going to see all the dirt and all the shit.
If you wanted to theme GNOME, I would tell you to use Budgie.
Yeah, I agree on that because Budgie, use GTK3, you can still theme that because all themes exist for GTK3 without being hacked. But
Josh is showing off already.
What? Hey, you can make. Oh, I see. You want to use libadwaita branch supports. No. Oh no.
Josh has already won the GNOME category.
Yeah. No. But to be on a serious note for XFCE and KDE, oh yeah, that'll be a great idea because you can make XFCE look damn sexy. And I'm gonna tell you what we're using on XFCE. I already showed it on the Wednesday stream, on the stream I did on Wednesday night.
What did you do to get around Thunar?
I didn't get it. Well, I used Thunar Extended. It's a fork of Thunar with more features.
Is it still as ugly as regular Thunar?
Yeah, of course. It will never look good. Thunar is Thunar. Thunar is function over form.
It is.
But it is a good file manager, I must admit. If you work your around the issues, it doesn't look good, but it does a good job at in Thunar Extended. It includes right-click git clone. You can do it in the context menu. Git clone. You don't need to type anything in terminal. For those who are too afraid of the terminal, Thunar works around that. I included a crap ton of Thunar plugins from the AUR. But I'm talking about the look. The look, we opted to use Polybar because the XFCE panel is atrocious. You put the clock in the center, it's not centered. It's a mess. So we tried all types of panels. Only Polybar prevailed.
You didn't like using implementations of LatteDoc for obvious reasons.
No, we don't want to pull half of KDE into XFCE. So we used Polybar. We used Rofi for the time being because we're still on the lookout for a good app menu that works as an app menu that you click the button, it drops down underneath the button. Because the XFCE, when you use Polybar, because Polybar is not an XFCE project, it's a window manager thing. So what happens when you do that is when you tell it to open Whisker menu and the icon to open Whisker menu in Polybar on XFCE, it's gonna open Whisker menu at the damn center of the screen. So if you click the icon up top left, it's gonna show Whisker in the center of the screen because XFCE doesn't understand Polybar. It's not an XFCE thing. Right. So we need to work around that. For the time being, Rofi is the only choice, and it will pop up in the center of the screen because that's how Rofi works. But it's better looking than what's it called? Whisker menu. We implemented Polybar to the best of our abilities. We're using a fork of PyCom by Ibhagwan, not the Jonaberg one. Jonaberg one doesn't work in VMs; it crashes. The Ibhagwan one works in a VM. So that's as far as we're using Plank for the dock, of course. That's as far as we've gone with XFCE. The rest of it is everything XFCE. There's an issue that Kudu discovered. nitrogen doesn't work correctly unless you kill the XFCE wallpaper picker. But if you kill the XFCE wallpaper picker, you no longer have a context menu on the desktop because it's all tied together. So XFCE is proving to be way more complex than Gnome and KDE combined.
Although it's simpler in appearance, it's harder to manage.
Yeah, underneath it all. Josh, what did you say? X menu? I'll have to look into that. I'll mention it. The way we did it, Josh, is we created a .desktop file that launches on startup, that launches Polybar, and that kills the XFCE panel. It does kill all XFCE panel, and then launches Polybar. But you cannot remove XFCE4 panel. It's dependent on the rest of the XFCE. Yeah.
So part of it's like a login hook.
Yeah, it's not only a login hook; it's part of the package. It's XF desktop package. So if you remove it, you might as well remove XFCE. Right. So we're trying to work around the wallpaper thing, the app menu thing, and that's it.
Cool.
Once we get this worked out, that's what we have left. The release will be ready. And it's going to be buildable by anyone for free. That's just the same way as Gnome and KDE. And people don't know this, but you can build the KDE version. You don't have to wait for me to do a release in 3 months. You can. I'm not going to be changing anything but during those 3 months. I'll be working on the development version, but the stable version you can build whenever you want. It's as buildable with the same ABS tool as the rest of them. So, yeah.
Wow.
Gamer King, you don't hate Polybar, but yeah, I don't hate Polybar either. But it's a window manager thing. We're trying to marry a window manager thing into a desktop environment. We're forcing the marriage. It's and it works. Like we put we had to put the system tray in the center.
Yeah. Well, if you're doing window manager things, would it not be an arranged marriage?
I was gonna say that. It was right here. I just didn't want to. I didn't know how.
Hey, we're sharing the brain cell today. That's what we're doing. We're sharing the brain cell.
So we're having an arranged marriage between XFCE and window manager stuff. We just need to figure out the app menu thing. It's annoying, and the wallpaper thing.
Yeah. What have you been spending most of your time on this week? What's your thing of the week?
Oh, my thing of the week. I forgot what was it? Oh, yeah, burn my windows. Burn my windows.
What setting do you have your burn windows set to? The Star Trek transporter?
Nah, I'm old school. The TV glitch.
TV glitch is good. I like that one too. But I showed Melissa burn my windows with the transporter effect, and she loved it.
Burn my windows, Gnome. Yeah. I'm gonna show it to the people.
Oh yeah, so much fun.
Okay. Remove captioning. Okay. You got the cube style, the cube thing from Compass.
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier in the chat. Yeah. What's up, DT? How you doing?
Hey, DT. Did you get my message on Patreon? You got the burn effects, the speckles effect, the Star Trek transporter effect.
Oh yeah.
You got the burn, the fire.
Yeah, the fire's fun too.
Yeah, and you can change. You got the matrix code, and you got the particles. And you got like Wolverine stuff.
Yeah,
It's
lots of fun going on.
it's a lot of
You
fun,
can
and it does
change
it
the speed, you can change the intensity on some of it.
super customizable. It's a GNOME extension in essence, but it works on KDE because somebody ported it to KDE.
Yeah,
It's included by default on XeroLinux, but disabled, of course. You can enable it and select whichever you
yeah.
want in the desktop effects section in the settings. So I recommend it. I highly recommend people try it out. It's fun. It doesn't use a lot of resources. It only happens when you open or close windows. It's not like very intensive. Don't use the cube one unless you're coming from the 90s.
90s? No, that's early aughts. The cube.
The
Are you
cube.
talking about the spinning desktop cube?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I was using that between 2005 and 2010. That's when I remember Compass sort of showing up on Ubuntu.
Yeah.
And I remember I had at the time when I was using Ubuntu Warty '05. Yeah, Warty Warthog.
Yeah.
And I had this AMD socket 939 motherboard, I think. I forget what my GPU was, but I had these giant, like 17 or 19-inch CRTs, three of them across my desk, three of them just, in the flight sim kind of arrangement. And I would just spin my desktop across all three monitors.
Nice.
And I felt, back then, that was huge for Linux because that was our show off thing. Like, yeah, we can't play games, but look, we can spin our desktop around.
Yeah. And when I started using Linux back in 2020, 2020, uh, on my Raspberry Pi 4, they were using XFCE with old Debian, and
Yeah,
and the guy who made the spin for the Pi 4 included Compass and the 3D
of
desktop
course.
and
Yep.
all that. So
And you just sit there and you spin it around, and it's way more fun than it needs to be.
yeah, I was like constantly spinning the cubes up and down and rotate 360
Yeah.
degrees, and it was so much fun.
I'm gonna guess that probably a fair percentage of us in the Linux world are some sort of neurodivergent, and we turned our desktops into fidget spinners. That is what
Yeah,
we did.
yeah, I did that on Manjaro, and then I tried to bring all that to Manjaro, and that's where I discovered Burn My Windows. Uh, and I was using Manjaro KDE, not GNOME. But since it's a GNOME extension, it works way better on GNOME than on KDE,
Yeah,
and the application is more streamlined. It's just one window. You select the effects and you modify the effects within the app.
yeah,
It's like a separate app. Uh, but on KDE, it's in the desktop effects, and each effect is separate. And then it has each effect has its cogwheel next to it. It's a mess
yep,
because it's not meant to be for KDE. Someone ported it, forked it, and ported it to KDE, so it
right.
feels like a non-native thing. That's my
Yeah,
problem
well,
with KDE today. The non-native native stuff in it. Okay, we want
well,
features, we want effects, we want fun, we want just
yeah,
implement them better than they are today. Just make them like the GNOME thing. Just make a pop-up window where you can modify everything. Why do you have to add a separate thing
yeah,
on each line? And it's a mess.
yeah. You're not wrong.
Anyway, what was your thing of the week?
My thing of the week. I'm still doing a bunch of modernization for the church, and I don't want to spend too much time and turn it into a church podcast. But
We mentioned
OpenLP got
still.
sun. I gave that a sunset, and it's been replaced with Presenter,
Oh yeah, you told me.
and
Uh,
it's I'm gonna catch a little more heat because I'm still experimenting with things that have paid tiers. But I'm gonna say what I said about ToneLib I'm gonna say it about Presenter. The fact that Linux is being taken seriously enough for enterprise applications is a great thing.
bigger companies are seeing Linux and they're
Yeah,
considering Linux.
yeah.
That's a good thing to
We're
see.
not just hidden in the basement anymore. I don't want to call worship an industry, but in some ways it is. In some
Mm,
ways it is. For
yeah, it is.
people selling products to people like me, or if you were in a bigger church, where you have these products to modernize that side of things.
Mm,
So it's got a lot more intuitive of a UI than OpenLP did. It's got integration with YouTube. It's got integration with song lyrics. It's just that and OBS. It's a wonderful combination.
wonderful marriage.
We keep coming back to that.
Well, my sister's getting married at the end of the month, so it's normal to be
Yeah.
in our heads. So,
Well, who knows? Before we know it, what if we wind up marrying people? It could be
yeah.
us
Well, I
next.
hope you and Melissa end up as a couple.
Well, I don't see that
Well,
being very far off at
I
all.
hope Melissa is hearing this, but
No,
you guys,
she's
you
playing Among Us right now.
oh, okay. Well, you guys are an amazing duo. You complete each other.
Hey,
Uh,
thank you.
I've seen a lot of couples in my life trying to become to get married and stuff, but they thought they matched, but they didn't. But you and Melissa match perfectly.
Hey, thank you so much. Like she's a huge reason that I can even be here uh on the podcast. She's taking care of things so that I can, even right now with us not in a home. She's
Yeah,
keeping things going so that I can remain part of this project because it's really important.
and she's got a lot of love to give, and you
Yeah.
got a lot of love to take.
But yeah,
and you need someone in the Star Trek from the Star Trek universe to complete you.
yeah, yeah, it's really cool. I'm looking forward to showing her a lot of the new features that the new KDE release is going to have, because she
Got
likes KDE.
Puccin,
Yeah,
got Puccin.
she likes KDE like you do. So you got a club member there.
Anyway,
All right.
we're gonna end this episode right here. Thank you guys for being part of the chat.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thanks as always. It is so much even more fun since we've been able to have live chat during the
yeah,
podcast.
exactly. That's why we do it live now. It's always gonna be live from now on. I'm not going back to pre-recorded
Yeah.
unless
And
I really have to.
well, it's
I
good
won't.
you have more power again. Hopefully your ISP gets their act together again.
Yeah, and we got all this. All those different ways for people to
Thanks to
support the
everybody
project.
who's been supporting. Can we get another shout out for your generous benefactor this week?
Yeah, Bryan. Thank you, Bryan. Alex and Bryan,
That's
my
that's
top,
so awesome. Thank you guys.
yeah, top tier benefactors. They show XeroLinux a lot of love. Uh, Even if you cannot show monetary support,
Yeah.
just
Drop a
people.
link somewhere. Talk about it.
Yeah, people like Teddy donating a lot of his time, and I need to mention Dead Synapse. He's the one working on the new Hello tool from the ground up. He's been working on it since October last year, uh, on and off because he has a job, he has a company, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's taken a while, but I don't like hurrying things because if you hurry anything, it's gonna end up being half-assed. So
Right.
it will come when it will come. If it doesn't come with this release, it will come with the next one. I'll keep delaying it until it's completely perfect.
Yeah.
Uh, so with that, don't forget to support us on Ko-fi, as you can see in underneath the
Yeah.
frames.
The new
The new Patreon,
interface. It
basically.
looks really good. No, the screen with us and the support and everything. It looks much
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
Looks really good.
and you can support us on, just to remind everyone, you can support us on Ko-fi, Fundraiser, or what's the other one? Liberapay.
Yep.
I am moving away from Patreon, but if you still want to support me on Patreon, you still can. I'm not completely closing it anytime. Well, not
Not yet.
immediately, not yet,
Almost.
almost, because they don't support Stripe, so it's difficult
Yeah.
for me to use anything that doesn't support Stripe. And
But
of course, you can now join the channel, get the early access
yep.
to
Join up, guys.
videos.
If you haven't joined, do it.
Yeah, it's only I said it was $4.99. It's $2.49. Sorry, I completely forgot. I dropped the price because $5 was for perks like
Yeah.
that. $5 is a little bit too much, but $2.49. You can join and get early access. You can send us super thanks or super chats on our live streams. So you got all these methods to support the project, and of course, you can buy our merch. I don't
Yep.
advertise it much because uh, it's just regular T-shirts with our logo. What else could
Yeah,
it be?
but hey, we're all a community here. That's
Yeah,
what it's about.
you want something in exchange? Go buy our merch.
Yeah.
Uh, of course, like, comment, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and show love
Cool.
as we show you love with XeroLinux.
Yep.
All right.
All right. We'll
On my end,
see you guys in the next one.
we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.